We're going to go now, though, to Capitol Hill because Mike McCaul, the chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, has been standing by very patiently, and he joins us now. Sir, thank you very much for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So, sir, we just showed our viewers, the ones who didn't want to look away, this photo that Benjamin Netanyahu's office, they actually put out 3 photos, 2, they say, of burned babies who died, 1, the bloodied body of a baby that we did show to our audience. I know you've talked a little bit about this in some of your interviews, but I just kind of wanted to start there and ask you what your response is.
I mean, it's horrific, and I know people don't want to see these pictures, but I think it's important that they do. I know there's been some doubt that this happened, so actually I think Netanyahu did the right thing by releasing these photos. You know, I was in the kibbutz that got massacred, the one right next to Gaza. I was there a year ago with Speaker McCarthy, and got a tour. All those people that I met with were massacred. But the saddest thing, Casey, is the daycare center that I toured and saw the children. They were slaughtered as well, and the babies. And some of the children were actually beheaded. And I know some of the press don't want to believe that happened, but I think sometimes you have to see the best evidence, which are the photos, to see what monsters Hamas really is, that they're very, very much like ISIS in a lot of ways.
That, of course, the argument that Netanyahu is making, and I understand what you're referring to, and I don't think any of us will hesitate to report once we have seen evidence like that of it happening, but there has been a little bit of confusion and back and forth, so we're just being particularly careful to make sure that we characterize things that we have actually seen. So let's kind of move on to what we're learning from U.S. officials here, because after a briefing with U.S. officials, you had said that Egypt actually warned the Israelis 3 days before the attack that something like this could happen. And the White House National Security spokesman John Kirby was asked about your comments yesterday. I just want to show you what he said and then ask you about it. Take a look.
Speak to the reports that Israel was warned by Egypt.
I can't.
Has that been discussed at all, or is that something you're looking into?
I can't speak to specific intelligence matters. Again, there will be a time to look back at this, as we always do, and we will. Right now, we're sharpening the intelligence gathering and cooperation and sharing with Israel, as we should, since they're involved in active operations, and we're making sure that they get the tools they need.
Can you define?
So what do you say to John Kirby, and can you share anything else that you know about this possible warning?
Well, I don't always agree with him, but actually I do on this one. That's something we need to analyze afterwards, kind of like with 9/11, which was a failure. We know Hamas was planning this for months without any awareness, and it has been reported, what I had stated, it's been reported publicly. But I'll tell you this, I know Bibi Netanyahu very well. And if any of that got to his level or his attention, he would not hesitate to take action. So I don't, if that intelligence was reported to Egyptian or to the Israeli Defense IDF, I know that if he got that intelligence, he would have acted on it.
Sir, I want to ask you also about the other major unfolding story today, and that is, of course, the Republican conference's efforts to pick a speaker. And this matters not least because the White House has a request in, and they're already trying to work on getting together a new aid package for Israel that I know the vast majority of Republicans support. Do you think there's any chance that there's going to be a speaker by the end of the day, by the end of the week?
God, I hope so. I didn't think we were going to oust Kevin McCarthy. This is very dangerous, KC, in my judgment. I'm getting ready to go into another conference to try to get unification with our party, but I don't like playing games with fire. I mean, the world is on fire right now, whether it be Ukraine to the Pacific with Chairman Xi, now this war in the Middle East after Hamas terrorized Israel. And we cannot afford not to have a speaker in the chair. I have a resolution condemning Hamas, supporting Israel, 415 co-sponsors. I can't get that voted on the floor because we don't have a speaker in the chair. It'd be very important for the American people through their Congress to show that support to Israel. But until we have a speaker, I can't pass that. And as you mentioned, the aid package, I've talked to the administration quite a bit about getting a national security aid package done, which would include Israel, because they're going to need additional funding within a matter of weeks. We can't afford to let this drag out much longer. A lot of lives are at stake here.
Very briefly, sir, do you think there's going to be a vote on the House Speaker today on the floor?
You know, I hope so. I'll probably know more after this noon session that we're having. I'm getting ready to go there right after this interview. But I think for the sake of the nation and the American people and the world, quite frankly, because they're all watching this, we need to move forward.
Yep. All right. Foreign Affairs Chairman Michael McCaul, feel free to come back and tell us what you learn after the meeting. And thank you very much for being with us today. I really appreciate your time, sir.